Ooh, ooh, all I give to you was my hope, my dreams, my family. Tell me ha. Could you on that? Could you be on that? Tell me ha. Could you be on that? Baby, all you give me one. Baby, all you give me one. I don't know why Red Pill Blues is like the one album that you just find yourself singing and it's just like, wait, what was that song again? What album was that off of again? Oh, that's Red Pill Blues. Oh shit. Let me go run it back. Reverse the order. Send it back, send it. Wait, run it back, run it back. Yeah, yep. Yeah, yep. Midday stream. I can't believe it's 317. Midday stream tapping with me. Yes, sir. I don't even know why we're doing a midday stream, but F it. Yes, sir. Christina Williams going viral today. Yes, sir. I guess not a lot of people are following Dewanna Bonner. I don't think a lot of people follow Dewanna Bonner. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. Pile in, pile in. I don't expect to have a lot of people here on stream. Probably evening stream would do numbers. I'm not even sure why I'm streaming now. Cause technically I could wait. Games are 10 o'clock. I could wait till like 8:30 today. I was gonna go watch that new F1 movie with Brad Pitt, but I guess I'm here, so I'm missing the matinee prices. Uh, and obviously them regular standard rates. Eh, $30 for a movie ticket is actually crazy. We need to talk about how we're like people aren't boycotting the movies. We need to boycott the movies until they act right. You feel me? $30 a movie ticket. Now they have something, I don't know if y'all have AMC, but they have something called Prime, like Prime Movies, Prime IMAX and all that stuff. Prime sometimes, I swear Prime is great, by the way. Like I see a lot of my movies in Prime. I don't know if y'all have that. But if you do have an AMC, you know what I'm talking about. Prime, I think, is low key better than IMAX. Prime, low key better than IMAX. But they be taxing. If you guys do hear like a stirring or a whirring, that is just the fan that I have on. So if it's too much of a distraction, just let me know. I'll turn it off. I am, even though I'm in the coolest part of the house, I am trying to stay cool because I know, bro. I go on Twitter and the first thing I see is Sabrina, your neck hurt. And then someone else said, Sabrina, your neck screwed. You can't take this shit seriously, man. This dog. Hey yo, yeah yo. We got a couple shout outs to do, so I guess this will just be an update stream. But I did actually want to give my take on this whole Dewanna Bonner situation, so we'll get to that. I guess we can give a couple of shout outs in the meantime. I guess we could give a couple of shout outs in the meantime. Let me pull up chat. Why does it still have me logged in as a completely different page? It's just so weird. I hope everyone is doing well. Again, it's probably not going to be as big of a live stream as tonight. But I probably will live stream tonight again too, probably around 8:30. So stay tuned for that. If I don't live stream tonight at 8:30, um, oh shoot, I forgot to post on my IG. So I'll post that on my IG because, like I told you guys in the last stream, keep it locked on my IG because that's where I'll post like the live notifications. If I don't post, if you don't see a post from me tonight, like maybe around like 8 o'clock, I'm probably at the movies. I'm probably at the movies, all right? But there should be a thunderstorm today, so I'm not even sure if I'm gonna go out and leave the house. I might. I might. Piling. I might. Album back go round and round, round and round. All right, so we're just gonna work back through the Twitter timeline right now. I want to give a shout out. Basically, the way how I like curate my Twitter as well. Like I just like certain things that I want to talk about, apart from certain comments that I agree with. So it makes the live streams easier. And when my laptop's running great, it's a lot easier too. Kate Martin just recorded her first 20-point game of her career last night against the Liberty. And if anyone's wondering as to why I kind of like, even though Valks are missing Julie Van Loo, I mean the Liberty are missing two star players as well. But if you wonder why I like stay on this like disrespectful side with Golden State Valkyries, even though that crowd is actually stupid. That crowd, the dumbest, the loudest I've ever heard a crowd. And I'm being completely honest here. The loudest I've ever heard a crowd was when Leon in game two WNBA finals last year, where Leone Phoebus hit the three to like basically put the game to bed. I don't even think the cameras and the microphones that were in the stadium were equipped to handle that level of noise. Like, if you think I'm BSing, like, go watch that video of Leone Phoebus hitting the dagger three, and then put your phone on low volume. This shit's still loud. So last night when they were playing the Liberty, that got loud as hell to the point where it's like I'm checking my phone volume and I'm like, yo, it actually is loud as hell in here. And this is just for a regular season game, so you can imagine what it'd be like for a playoff game. But shouts out to Kate Martin, her cute uh first 20-point game of her career. I think that can be a standard thing for Kate Martin. I'm not sure how deep her bag is. She did hit a tuple. She did hit a couple of tough shots at the towards the end of the game, so maybe I don't know. Can I think Kate Martin could be a 15 PPG player? I do. I don't know what her bag is like. I mean, I watch her and she gets it kind of out of the flow of the offense. She's not really a heavy ISO player, but I feel like she could have a lot of she has a lot of different channels. Like she could become like a slasher, I think a solid slasher. You don't have to be fast to be a slasher, but she could become a slasher. She could maybe become a post big. She's like 6 foot, 6'1", so she's a sizable guard. She could become, 3-point specialist, corner specialist, whatever. There are a lot of different ways like Kate Martin could go in terms of her game and upping her PPG. I kind of see her. I think she's in the same class as like a Sonia Citron, where maybe it's just me, but I don't see Sonia Citron as a scorer per se, but she's such a high level like offensive mind one that she knows how to generate points for herself. Even if the ISO game ain't really there yet, she knows how to pick her spots, which leads to her PPG being higher. You feel me? I feel like Kate Martin could be in that same spot, but Kate Martin is definitely more of a system player, even though Sonia Citron is a system player as well. Sonia, I think, is better at picking her spots and has more skills in terms of those aspects. So I feel like Kate Martin, I definitely feel like she could be, as of right now, she's kind of in a Gabby Williams type role where it's just like do whatever you need the team to win, do whatever the team needs you to do to win. So I feel like she's in that type of role, but I think she could lean into a more Sonia Citron role as her career goes on. So shouts out to Kate Martin on the career high. Um, I guess this was yesterday, or maybe I'm tripping, but Rakea Jackson and who was it? Rakea Jackson and Derica Hamby. Was it Derica Hamby? I don't know. I'll probably come across it again on the Twitter. I want to leave it alone, but things got testy. I don't know if it's enough to that I should, give it time in this stream because we got to get to the importante. ESPN has declared its top five rookies so far this season, so kind of like their rookie of the year race update. They got Paige Beckers one, Kiki Arioff two, Sonia Citron three, Sonia Citron third, Lexi held fourth, and Monique Okoa Makani at number five. Lexi Held and Makani both play for Phoenix, both I believe undrafted So shouts out to Phoenix. Phoenix did they did pull a couple of diamonds out the rough. You feel me? A lot of people are saying where's Tahina Pow Pow, Dominique Malonga, where's Tahina Pow Pow? I definitely do think Tahina Pow Pow should be number 5, but something tells me that this list was made a little bit before Tahina started popping off, especially over her last couple of games. So that's why I think Tahina Pow Pow isn't missing here. I still stand by the fact that I think Kiki Ariafen should be number 1. Because what a lot of people are doing, they're pointing to Paige Beckers as she's leading rookies in this, she's leading the league in this. Now, I'll give you if you're leading the league in something as a rookie, I'll give you that. Like you'll win that argument every time. But I just think I look at a lot of awards, especially the postseason awards, as impact. You feel me? Like I look at these things as impact. Like which player is having the most impact? You see what I'm saying? I don't know if I don't because then it treads the line of is this the best player even though they're on a bad team or whatever, or team success, is that related to the player's performance? So it's kind of treading the line of that, but I'm more so like, hold on. If you got a player averaging a double double, right? And maybe this team would be a lottery team without them averaging that double double, right? In comparison to this player that's leading the league in this, or let me not say leading the league, take that out of the argument, leading rookies in all three of these categories, but her team's ass. Not saying that has anything to do with it, but like her numbers don't necessarily have an impact. Like, do they keep the team competitive throughout these games? Maybe, maybe not. But I don't know. I feel like I side with the players whose numbers are having an impact on the team. You see what I'm saying? So to me, it's not necessarily about the wins or losses. But if I probably could pull up Dallas's last couple of games, but the reason I can, accept the fact that Paige Beckers is number 1 is because I believe in the past couple of games, or in the games that she has been in, other than some of the blowouts, Dallas has remained competitive. So to me, that's what the benchmark really is. Like, have the teams through the player's performance, have they at least remained competitive? Because it's one thing to have a losing record because your team isn't built the way it's supposed to be built, or your teammates aren't performing the way they're supposed to perform. If you're able to keep your team at least competitive with any other team in the league, then I can give you props for that. You see what I'm saying? But that's why like I'm more so leaning towards, like, biases aside, I'm more so leaning towards a Kiki Ariafen or a Sonia Citron because their play is at the very least keeping them competitive. So now they're going up against a New York Liberty or an Aces team or a Seattle Storm team. I don't think we played Seattle yet. They haven't played Seattle yet, but they're going up against an Atlanta Dream team, Phoenix Mercury. And if you remember in the beginning of the season, they were competing and damn near could have gone 5-0 to start the season. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you have players that are creating an impact or keeping a team competitive through their play. So I would most likely give the nod to a Sonia Citron or a Kiki Ariafen. You feel me? Does that make sense? Like, again, it's not saying that Paige is playing badly. By no means am I saying she's playing badly, but it's again it's like the impact for me. Let me pull up Dallas's. All right, so Dallas. Oh, they play tomorrow. Look at these scores. I don't know why. Okay, let's check these scores real quick because they have been somewhat competitive. Obviously, Paige missed a couple of games and whatnot, but everyone's gonna beat up on the Connecticut Sun. There were a couple of blowouts, and I know I can't really identify the game. So the first game lost by 15. That's the Lynx. Lost by 4 Lynx, and then they lost Page. I'm trying to remember which games they didn't have Page. Chicago, they had Page, and then they lost her, right? Maybe this stretch right here. So sometimes they lose by like a couple of points, and then other times they get dubbed like 10, 13, 15 points. I don't know. Recently, though, they won against Atlanta. I think Lee Yuru might have been the answer for the Wings. But again, I'm interested to see in this team and how they play when Matty Segrist comes back and Tierra McCowan comes back. But they beat the Dream 68-55. I think the Dream shot the worst field goal percentage in WNBA history. That's great. Turning into the Celtics over here. Just drive the basketball. You don't have to keep jacking threes anyway. They beat Connecticut, obviously, beat Golden State Valkyries, 88-84 loss to Las Vegas, 93-80 loss to Phoenix, 81-65 loss to Minnesota, 93-79 loss to LA, 83-77 loss to Seattle. I don't think they had Page for these games. So if now just to be fair, let's take a look at the Mystics. I don't think Sonia or Kiki have missed a game yet. But let's see here. So recently for the Mystics, 68-64 win against Minnesota, even though Minnesota was missing Nafisa Collier. The Mystics were also missing Brittany Sykes. So both teams didn't have their best player. Mystics pull out a dub. All right. Beat Dallas 91-88 in overtime. Paige went crazy. Sony went crazy. I think in terms of head-to-head battles too, if we're gonna add some onus or if we're gonna add some like credence to that, Sony put 27 on Paige. Not saying Paige didn't do her thing. I think Paige had 20, right? Paige had 20. Sony put 27 on her head and hit the game-winning shot for the dub. 91-88 victory against Atlanta. 92-91 loss. Chicago 79-72 comeback victory. ATL, this is when they got blown out because they had a week off. That's WNBA scheduling, so we're not really gonna look at that. You know what I'm saying 89-56, but that was because the WNBA wants to give teams a week off. I didn't commission that. You know what I'm saying against the New York Liberty 85-78 loss. Indiana Fever 85-76 loss. What game was that? They were at Indy, right? Oh damn, I'm forgetting how that game went. I might have to rewatch that game again. But New York Liberty 85-63 loss. Indiana 83-77 win. Phoenix 68-62 loss. They were in control for a lot of that game, by the way. Las Vegas lost 75-72. Again, in control. This was the stretch at the beginning of the season where they could have gone 5-0. Golden State 76-74 loss. You see me, like, they've been competitive. I feel like Sony, and does it help that Sony has another Rookie of the Year candidate and Kiki has another Rookie of the Year candidate on their team? Yes, it helps. But at the same time, it's like, I just feel like they're having a bigger impact. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at Paige being number one. I probably wouldn't have her at number one, but I'm not mad at her being number one. Why did I say in my chat? Tried disconnected. Okay, anyway. Let's keep going. That's all I have to say on that. So shouts out to Paige. She's still hooping. She's still doing her thing. Like I said, you lead the league in something that's tough. Shakira Austin been hooping. And I really do. I have to drop that Mystics video for you guys, but that's coming soon. I'm thinking of using the green screen for it again, but like it is annoying to edit, but I'll try to suck it up. Anyway, all right, let's get to why we're really here. Dewanna Bonner. Shouts out Christina Williams. Christina dropped this on her Twitter. I think I saw Dewanna's post on IG on my FYP really before I even saw it on Twitter, which is why I went on Twitter, because I wanted to see what the Twitterverse was saying about it, because I already saw the Instagram comments. I already figured what the Instagram comments would say, but I have to say, Twitter was having an interesting conversation, because they brought up the fact that like let me see if I can find the comment actually. But and then I'm gonna read to y'all what Dewanna Bonner said in her Instagram post. And then I was on her Instagram page and I saw that she had a post 2 days ago. She was posting her kids. Um, 2 days ago. Well, everyone technically, I guess 2 days ago is when we first got the reports that she wasn't interested in coming back. Right, that was about 2 days ago. I don't know how I felt about that post. Like posting the kids. Like to me, that's like some. I want to say. I hate. I'm not gonna say I hate it, but it's like this is where players and athletes try to play dumb, right? They try to take their they try to protect people feed yacht, right? You know everything that's going on. You know there's a bunch of uncertainty around the discourse going on with you and your relationship with the Fever, your playing career, all that stuff. You know everything that's going on. You are aware. You are definitely aware because you go and post something like this. So what the discourse on this Twitter post was talking about was how WNBA players seem to be more aware, and they were actually mentioning that. I think they were saying I think a lot of why is this shit not pulling up? Hold on, let me refresh this. They were saying WNBA players are spending way too much time on social media, and I was just like, I think I agree with that. And they were comparing it to the MNBA, and I'm just like, yeah, you have your KDs, and then you have some people. Obviously, they're going to have burners. It's probably smarter for them to have burners because they have whole enterprises behind their names and whatnot. So it's kind of smart for them to have burners. And sometimes you'll get that response from a Donovan Mitchell or and it's not always negative, right? I'm just saying sometimes you'll get the response from their main page, right? But a lot of the time, NBA players, they have to ignore that shit. Because imagine these NBA players where they're already getting trolled by the thousands acknowledge the fact that they're seeing these videos, acknowledge the fact that they're seeing these memes. Like, it'd be a different scale, right? In the WNBA, okay, finally it pulled up. In the WNBA, it's I think it's a lot more clear that they know when their name or when their play or when their presence is like circulating around social media. I think it's a lot closer. As in this troll meme to a MNBA player got to go through mad steps just to even reach like the attention of this player, right? Compared to a WNBA player, this troll meme or whatever meme or positive message has to go through like they still has to go through steps, but it's a lot shorter to reach the attention of this WNBA player. And I think more WNBA players see or are aware of when they're being talked about, right? Which is why a Bria Hartley would tweet out some dumb shit. And which is why Dewanna Bonner understands everything that's going on with her and every speculating uncertainty and then wants to post a pic of her kids. Like you know what I'm saying? No disrespect to the fam, but it's like to me, y'all keep using your kids as smoke screens. That shit kind of is played out and it's also kind of wild. No one's saying this shit. This shit wild, bro. It's that like it's low key disgusting. It's low key disgusting. Like using the kids as a smoke screen. That's and then if you want to say that's speculation, you want to say okay, that's my opinion. She just posted a pic like with it. She's like I don't treat players as if they're stupid. I treat players as if they're well aware of what's going on. And especially in the context of the WNBA, I think that's a fair assumption. Yes, because we're all making assumptions, right? Or educated guesses, whatever. But if you think my opinion on that is wrong, that she's using her kids as a smokescreen is wrong, well, then you have to now argue with the follow-up post she done made where she's basically acknowledging what people are saying about her. It's a defense mechanism. Everyone, most people here taking a psychology class I found my psychology class very interesting, I think, which is why I performed well in it and I got an A in it. You know what I'm saying? And this was a college psych class. This wasn't no high school shit. AP format and all that. But I'm about to read it to you guys right now. I was just fixing the chat. All right. So this is what Dewanna Bonner said. I'll just read this for you guys. All right. So here's Dewanna Bonner basically acknowledging and admitting that she's hearing the talks. She's hearing what people are saying about her, which is the exact reason I formulated the opinion I formulated about her posting her kids. Dewanna Bonner on Instagram says, "A quitter." Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. A quitter. Nah, never been that. But when the time comes, let's just make sure the apologies are just as loud as the disrespect. In due time, DB Crown. They were frying her up on Reddit. I'm not gonna lie. They said, let's just make sure the apologies are just as loud as the disrespect. They said, let's make sure the apologies are just as loud as the disrespect. Hate to see an athlete coming. And then they were talking about delayed, not denied. And then they were saying, isn't that from the Bible? And someone else said, it's not really from the Bible, but it's kind of like a church saying or like a gospel saying, gospel preaching or something like that. And they were like, oh, like which book is that in? And someone said Second Hesitations. Oh my fuck, dog. They were fried. They were fried DB up. They were frying DB up on Reddit, bruh. All right. I thought that was gold. I'm not gonna lie. I know a lot of people be making fun of Christianity and the Bible, and honestly, that shit ain't a joke. But that was clever. That was clever. Okay, now I'm gonna try to find the. Before I give you my opinion on all of this, like my actual overall opinion on all of this, just off of, I know that she's well aware of what's going on, so I'm not even like too caught up on that part. Like I know. Um, But my overall opinion on this, we'll get into. Let me see. I want to see if I can find the comment first where people were having that, excuse me, having that conversation of WNBA and MNBA players being aware. I thought I liked it. No, you know what? I didn't. I probably didn't like it, and I think it got deleted too because I thought I did like it, and then I thought I dropped a comment. Anyway, so okay, here it is. Here it is. I did like it. See, I knew it. A comment said, I don't know if this is it's a verified page, but I'm not even going to say the name because I don't. People be paying for verification, so I'm not even sure if they're credible at this point. But this comment said, I'm mind boggled. Sorry, I'm mind boggled how much athletes in the W monitor social media. That can't be good for their mental health. Okay, that's what they said. I did leave a couple of replies on here, and this is why I probably. And someone replied and said, "Ain't Kevin Durant say he got a whole burner to watch social media? It's not a W thing, dog." Okay, and that's when I responded. I was just like, "Yo, again, the different levels in terms of exposure is what makes Kevin Durant on a burner, Kevin Durant on a main page different from a WNBA player. Remember how I just explained, like, this has to go through more steps to reach that NBA player or NBA player, and this has to go through less steps to meet that WNBA player. That's basically what I responded to this. Now, back to Dewanna Bonner and this entire situation with the Fever. I wasn't paying too much attention to the Fever. So I'll be the first to say that. I wasn't paying too much attention to the Fever this season. I watched the games that were on live TV. I watched the games against my Libs, my Mystics, all that stuff, right? My opinion on this is, or my understanding on this is, Dewanna obviously came to Indiana to, build a championship team, championship caliber team, be that vet presence that Indiana, I think, needed, right? She starts play, she's in the starting lineup, whatnot. Obviously, I don't think she got off to the best start or wasn't playing the best basketball. Let me pull up her stats in the meantime, too. Wasn't playing the best basketball, but again, what are we? 7, 8? We just hit 15 games in, by the way. So, so let it be known, we just hit 15 games in. We're damn near a quarter of the way through the season. Almost. Yo, I just caught up like mean crap. Hold on. What the hell was that? My bad. I don't think this ever happened to me. I just like right here. I don't even know if it was a cramp or it was just like this felt like it needed to stretch. My bad. So we're not even a quarter through the season, right? Or we're right about, depending on what type of scheduling the WNBA got these people on, but we're right about a quarter into the season, right? And I told you guys at the beginning of the season, I'll give my opinions obviously through the first couple of games, but we're not going to give like hard set tests and hard set analysis and this no not decisions, but hard set like commentary, if you will, on the health of these teams until we're 10, 15 games in, right? I did tell you all that, right? The crazy thing about this, we just reached a quarter into the season. So this is when all the reviews, I think, can now be stamped as valid. What's working, what's not working, what we say whatever you want about the coaches, players, systems. Now, I think we're a quarter into the season. We can start hearing preliminary talks about these teams, basically. Maybe midway through the season, all-star break and whatnot, we can start having like hard set conversations about what needs to happen, what needs to change, if something needs to stay the same about these teams. Dewanna Bonner started with the Fever, wasn't putting up the best numbers. That's fine. I think everyone, I lied. Wasn't putting up the best numbers. And I will be honest and say, I think I was part of I actually sent a tweet. I actually posted a freaking tweet. And I said, and I was referring to Izzy Harrison too, because I was like, Izzy kind of was underperforming in the minutes that she got. They were still trying to, obviously the Libs were still trying to figure out rotation. Dewanna Bonner was kind of underperforming in the minutes that they got. And I'm just like, I questioned it. I didn't say it, but at least I could say I questioned it. I was just like, is Dewanna Bonner washed? Like, is she washed? And then for the Libs, I was just like, wait, please don't tell me we got washed Izzy Harrison. Because, like, what is this? I'm looking at the productivity, but I'm like, what is this? So I'm just like, please don't tell me we got washed Izzy Harrison. I'm just like, is Dewanna Bonner washed too? But again, I'm just throwing shit out there. I'm just asking questions because, like I said, we're not gonna do like a full blown or thorough analysis until a quarter into the season. We're only a couple of games in, and we're worrying about if this player is underperforming and whatnot. So I was just like, again, let's just wait to see where we are in 15 games, right? Dewanna is underperforming in the games that she's playing for the Fever. And she's on a $200,000 contract. Unprotected. Cool. Whatever. $200,000 contract, underperforming. Do I think that's all her fault? No. I don't, bro. It's a new team, it's a new system. Yes, it's the same head coach that you had back in Connecticut, but again, it's just new players. You feel me? But the reason I'm saying like I'm asking is she washed because I'm just like even if you are in a new system, I just didn't think the performances were like you can have bad performances, but I felt like Dewanna was having like sub bad performance. I felt like it just wasn't like what am I watching her do right now? 1 point in a game? That's like I feel like Dewanna bad is like 8, 5, and 7 or 8, 6, and 6 or something like that. You feel 1 point going through games with 0 points? I was just like, I don't think it's so that's why I was just like, a bad Dewanna game is maybe like 8 points. Zero, something's going on, right? And she's on a $200,000 contract. So now you're looking at Dewanna Bonner, and I don't know. I'm not gonna put everything on her because I think there might have been some slights from the team, coaching staff, and decision making as well. Like I don't think they were on the same page, which actually led Dewanna to say, you know, I'm clocking out. Like I don't think it's just a specific player thing. I really don't think that. Like I'm not gonna put it all on the player because I think there has to be some sort of disruption in terms of communication with team and player for a player to just quit, not even a quit a quarter way through the season. You see what I'm saying? So now here's the Dewanna Bonner who's underperforming in a new system. She gets relegated to the bench. And as you all probably could assume or could predict, y'all know how I feel about this now. Y'all know how I feel like I'll give Dewanna Bonner the grace for being, up there in her career, established player, being sent to the bench. She didn't come to Indiana to be on the bench. I get it. I will give you that. You want a certain amount of playing time, even though, again, my mentality, I had to come off the bench too in my playing career. And again, I'm not saying it's at the D1 professional level, but I had to come off the bench too. But what I understood, part of the reason I liked coming off the bench was because I was like, if you're putting me against your second unit, they getting fucked up. No one on that bench can check me. The starters can't check me at all. And I'm coming on with the second unit. One, I knew that, you know what I'm saying, I had the ultra green. I was just like, my bench they gonna pass me a ball anyway. You feel me? And I'm not saying my bench was like bad or like subpar or nothing like that. Like my last year in high school, I remember when we played, like we had solid starters, solid bench, right? And I was coming off the bench. I'm just like mentally I wasn't there. So I can kind of see what Dewanna Bonner is like when you get like relegated to the bench or when you're super sub because that's technically what happened. It didn't really happen for Dewanna Bonner, I don't think. But you can decide whether you're going to be a super sub or a bench player, in my opinion. You see? Like that's up to you. That's a mentality thing. So here I am saying like I know no other bench unit can stop my bench unit. I start most games. I already know starters can't check me. What the hell is a bench gonna do for me or do to me? I'm a super sub. I think the mentality of like being a super sub and being a bench player are two different things, right? Because a super sub might see the advantages and see the opportunities of coming off the bench. Take Peyton Pritchard, for instance. I remember that man got in the game, what was it, 2021 against the Milwaukee Bucks, started firing away and said, this is what I do in his celebration. Like that's just not coincidence. Like this is what I do. He's not I promise you, a lot of those celebrations, they're not speaking to the other team. They're speaking to their own team. They're speaking to the coaching staff. They're saying this is what I do. You feel me? Like, this is who I am. Like, yeah, I'm coming off the bench. Yeah, I'm considered this role player or whatnot on this team full of stars, but it's just like, nah, don't get it effed up. I can hoop too. I'm better than a lot of these players out here. This is what I do. So I feel like that mentality wasn't present with Dewanna Bonner, because I can understand you coming to this team and saying you want to start, you're expecting these certain minutes, whatever. At this stage in your career, we not trying to come off the bench. Like, I don't know how many years of prime performance I have left, but this coming off the bench shit, hell no. I can understand that. I really can understand that. But to me, it's like the mentality of once you go to the bench. If you believe you're so great, if you believe that you're still able to perform at a prime level, at an optimal level, if you still believe you are the Dewanna Bonner, going to the bench to me shouldn't have been a thing. Shouldn't have been a thing of it's time to log out. You see what I'm saying? Going to the bench to me would have been like, okay, I have shit to prove. They want to send me to the bench. All right, I understand that, my performances haven't been the best. Maybe I have a couple of. Actually, she didn't really have too many decent performances because she dropped 21 in the loss to the Mystics. That was when they didn't have CC. All right, so I'm not gonna lie. Um, Her performances when CC was out didn't really help. You see what I'm saying? They lost to Liberty by 2. Y'all remember that game? That's when they had CC. Tasha Cloud stripped the ball from CC at the end of the game. She had 2 points in 23 minutes. So she wasn't really helping herself. However, if you still my thing is, if you still believe in your ability to you still believe in your ability to play basketball at the highest level, then going to the bench would have been like, okay, I'm here temporarily. I'm here because as of right now, I'm not in rhythm. Like, you make something up to the point where it's just like you're not immediately crashing out mentally thinking that I'm on the bench because I'm being disrespected, or I'm on the bench because you see what I'm saying? Like, in order for you to quit means that you think there's no way out for you in this situation. You see what I'm saying? Please tell me y'all understand that. Cause I'm not even worried about the logistics of trade and stuff like that. Where's she gonna go? I'm like more so worried about the mentality because we're only a quarter of the year in, quarter of the season in. If you're thinking to yourself, I'm on the bench and because I got relegated to the bench, I'm quitting. That's telling me that you're not really confident with your current abilities. Like, something you don't necessarily believe in yourself. You need a whole change of scenery just to get yourself back on track. You would rather have a change of scenery than fight your way or climb your way back to the starting lineup at least. You see what I'm saying? So now it's like, okay, it kind of resembles these players in college who are leaving certain college systems because they don't want to perform, or really they don't want to be under a certain structure of discipline. That's what it sounds like to me. And now people on the Twitterverse were comparing this or saying, "Yo, she just straight up quit. I've never seen a player do this before." And then someone mentioned, like, did we not just go through this fiasco with Jimmy Butler in the Miami Heat? Yes, we did. We did. Hold on, let me refresh the live stream because I'm not sure if you guys are dropping comments, but this thing has said five minutes ago for how long? I'm refreshing the live stream real quick, guys, because I'm not sure. This says 5 minutes ago. Let me check. We're still going. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, because for some reason this thing said 5 minutes ago. So let me just refresh it. But back to my point. We were talking about Jimmy Butler, the Jimmy Butler fiasco with the Miami Heat, and some people were saying, like, we just saw this with Jimmy Butler, with a player quitting on a team, and we've seen it multiple times before, right? I'm not saying those two things are different, but I am saying that they as much as they're similar, there are a couple of other factors, especially in that Jimmy Butler situation. As in, Jimmy Butler, I guess the biggest difference between these two situations is that Jimmy Butler put a couple years in with the Heat. Is what I'm saying? Dewanna Bonner barely put 10 games in with the Fever. That's the biggest difference. Like Jimmy Butler went to the finals what twice with the Heat before he said, "Yeah, like I'm done. Like relationship severed. Like I'm out of here. I'm not playing. I'm not gonna hit the court again until I'm wearing different colors." There's already like a track record and a proven history with Jimmy Butler in the Heat, so that's where this would be different. You see what I'm saying? Dewanna didn't even play 15 games, right? I don't even think she played 15 games. I'm gonna pull up the ESPN again. I don't think Dewanna Bonner played 15 games, and she one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. You played 9 games. So my question to Dewanna Bonner is: if this ain't quitting, what is it? What do you call this? 9 games? Okay, you got sent to the bench. I believe she was coming off the bench for these past couple of games. Games on the 3rd, the 7th, and the 10th, right? Game against the Mystics, game against the Chicago Sky, game against Atlanta. I believe she was coming off the bench. Got blasted to the Dream. Okay, and then you want to go to Atlanta. She dropped 5, 2, and 2 and 1 against Atlanta on the 10th. Against Chicago, she dropped 6, 3, and 3 and 1. Against the Mystics, she played 21 minutes. This is all about 19 to 21 minutes. Against the Mystics, she dropped 9, 2, and 1 on the Mystics. Knowing what we know now and kind of like understanding the mentality that she had, these numbers, especially in her last couple of performances, were basically telling us that she's done with the team. Those numbers basically showed us that she was done with the team. She didn't really care about like accepting, and I'm not even going to say like, accepting the role because you don't have to accept that role. I'm not saying you have to accept that bench role, but if you're saying that you don't have the fight to change that up to get implement yourself back into the starting lineup, if this is not quitting, what is it? This would be like me getting benched and then I'm saying, yo, I'm done with basketball because I'm on the bench. Like I always found like I always thought like there were advantages to even on the way I play 2K. I bench some of my starters. I love watching teams like play without some starters. Not saying I wish injury or any injury or anything on people, but it's like as of right now, I love I love watching games where starting units are broken up. So I love watching Liberty games right now. Because this is how you know. This is how you know you have if you have a good team or not. This is how you know if you have good principles or not. I love watching the Mystics compete against the Minnesota Lynx without Brittany Sykes. Cause I want to see what your team is really made of. Like I want to know. Like what do you look like without this star player that covers so much for you? What do you look like without this star role player that covers so much for you? What type of like do you understand that there are still certain advantages you have even with some of these players out or even with some of these players on the bench? Like that's how I play 2K, bro. 2K where everyone be trying to overload their damn rosters and whatever, keep the starters out, try to get the cheesiest lineup. I've benched tournaments. I've been in tournaments where I've benched my starters. Not to like be like, oh, you know what? I'm not trying to gas them or something like that. But no, it's because I found a system where it's just like these players here in this system they play better. And isn't it more OP for me to be bringing off a Tatum or a Brown off of the bench while now they have to bring a bunch of basically scrubs off their own bench because they're putting all their best players on the floor. You see what I'm saying? So I always saw it as like an advantage. And I feel like if Dewanna Bonner saw like at least her bench opportunity as an advantage, I think she would have been thrown back into the starting lineup. I don't know how many games it would have taken, but I think she could have been back into the starting lineup. I really do think so. And to acknowledge that people are calling her a quitter and then her saying that she's not a quitter. It's just like, yeah, you quit. Yeah, you quit. In my opinion, you quit. 9 games in, 9 games in, and you basically quit 6 games in because these last three performances were just you BSing. 9 games, so technically 6 games in, and you quit. Weren't happy. He said, "Up and let me change the scenery." That's quitting. Like call a spade a spade. That's quitting. Dewanna Bonner quit on her team. Didn't even give it time to figure out. Like you just went to the bench. Maybe again you weren't on the same page with the coaching staff. I'll give you that and whatever. But like in terms of your mentality to get back to the starting lineup, it's not so much. I don't think it's so much that yeah she quit on the team, but through my eyes she low key quit on herself. She's low key like done with herself in terms of like again the confidence you have. Because if you're thinking, man, I don't even belong on the bench. Watch what I do in practice. Watch what I do on this second unit. That was again, I'm just using my life as an example, but that was probably the most fun. Where it's just like, yo, I'm gonna make the starters look so bad, bro. We about to kill the starters, bro. I'm about to make them look so bad. You didn't have that mentality. You did not have Dewanna Bonner did not have that mentality, yo. If this isn't quitting, what is? You quit on the team, but more importantly, like this move just lets me know that you quit on yourself. So you can end up on whatever team you want to end up on, and reports say that she wants to go to Atlanta or Phoenix. Obviously, we know why Phoenix, but according to the numbers, Phoenix is gonna have to host someone on their lineup, and Phoenix might be reluctant to doing that because they have a nice young core that's working right now. They really have a nice mix. They got a bunch of undrafted players balling. They got Alyssa Thomas, Kalia Copper trying to get healthy and whatever. Satu Sabali been hooping all season. Phoenix is going to be reluctant to breaking any of that up for Dewanna Bonner, who's what 37, and then Atlanta Dream. I like what? How's she gonna fit on? How's she gonna fit on Atlanta? Like Atlanta doesn't even understand that Tahina Pow needs to be back into the starting lineup. They don't even understand that Jordan Canada has to go back to the bench. And then you're going to introduce Dewanna Bonner. I'm not saying that would make their team worse, but I think that fit would be a little bit more complex to figure out. So the options, so your options, I don't think people are really sitting with their options like that. Because think about this. You can quit and go, and if you had these destinations in mind from time now, you probably should have had enough time to figure out how the hell is this going to work. You should probably know that yourself, or your team should probably be figuring this out as well if they're talking to certain teams. And they already said, do not contact, because she already has the places listed of where she wants to go. So she only wants to hear from a couple teams. Okay, so your options are work your way back to the starting lineup with the Indiana Fever. Quit. Force your way out. Once you do that, I guess the third option is try to fit into another team that's already quarter of the way into the season and figuring out, or may have already figured out, what roster they're running with. So either way, you're going to have to try to find a way to technically break into a starting lineup. So really, she had two options. She had two options: break into a starting lineup, because the crazy thing is she could go to another team and be benched too. She can go to, who says you're going to Phoenix to start? That's the funny part. Who said you're going to Atlanta to start? So you really had two options: work your way back into the starting lineup or quit. Quit on the team or work your way back into the starting lineup. Those are really the only options she had. She has. I don't think people are really sitting down with their thoughts, man. I don't think people are really sitting down and understanding their decisions. I think this move was kind of made based off emotion. And again, we're saying all this not knowing the relationship Dewanna has with the coaching staff and all that and whatnot. Again, we don't know the depth of all that, but I don't think Dewanna Bonner really went over her options in depth. I don't really think she did. So now she's in this point where it's just like she wants to respond on social media and say and refute the quitting allegations. It's just like, no, Dewanna, you quit. I can't even I already left a comment on her page where I was just like, I can't defend you. Not even fit. You didn't get 15 games in to the point where it's just like, all right, 15 games. She saw a fit, didn't work. All right, I can probably defend it. I could try to defend it at that point, even though it would probably still be difficult because you're still quitting on a team and you haven't even gone half a season with them. So I guess the number would still keep moving. But 9 games is insane. You just got to the team. You have no track record with the team. You have no history with the team. And 9 games in, you're like, oh, this is not working. I'm forcing my way out. Y'all going to be the same players who want a new CBA, who are going to renegotiate a new CBA. You're going to want the nice amenities. You're going to want the bigger salaries. I'm going to be real. I don't think new CBA going to tolerate this BS. I don't think the new CBA is going to tolerate this. Because a lot of WNBA players be abusing that personal reason shit. Coach White herself out for personal reasons. She just wanted to celebrate her birthday party, bro. You're not invited to my birthday. She just wanted to celebrate her birthday. So the team says she out for personal reasons. I'm gonna be real. Can you imagine certain, even maybe not say it, at least be less transparent about it. It's just like, oh, Coach White is away from the team. Everyone wishing her the best and whatnot and hoping she's okay. She over here partying. I don't think new CBA gonna rock with y'all. New CBA gonna take away all them personal reasons. They gonna take all that shit away from the team. Because imagine we hear about these teams in the MNBA, you always hear okay, this player's missing this game due to their wife being pregnant, child being born, and whatever, dealing with a death in the family, whatever. WNBA out here taking Dennis Rodman personal reason leaves. Just I wanted to stay in this hotel a little bit longer, out for personal reasons. It's just new CBA, y'all gonna be asking for shit, but guess what? They're going to cut your bullshit. They're going to cut the BS that some of y'all been on. Because a lot of people, and I can't even side against them for this. They take the WNBA they take the WNBA for the idiot, right? But I can understand why they do that, because some of the players feel like the WNBA You know what I'm saying? The WNBA take them for idiot. So both people are take each other for idiot. You understand? So I'm just like I can see why they like don't really give a piss. Don't they don't give a piss about nothing but Ty. They don't give a piss about the W because they feel like the W don't really care about them. And we don't have to bring up Gabby Williams, but that'd be a good example of that. You feel me? Like they're gonna prioritize themselves because they know damn well this league doesn't prioritize them. So I can understand that, but at the same time, like you do kind of have a more responsibility to, be a professional. And these Dennis Rodman vacations, y'all, that's not gonna be in the CBA. That's not gonna be in the new CBA, and I think it's gonna hurt your if you guys try to keep that type of flexibility going into the new CBA. I think it might be a pillar that's gonna get knocked down. That might hold you guys. That show up to work shit. That new CBA is gonna say, all right, y'all want all this money, y'all want all these things. You better show up. You better start performing. And the crazy thing is, it's gonna be exactly what you guys heard on this channel. It's gonna be exactly what you've heard me say on this channel before. There, as much BS y'all get from the WNBA, as disrespected sometimes you feel by or from the WNBA, you still gotta show up because you are a part of a trailblazing class. It's everything's gonna come back to what I said. A lot of things keep. That's why I always say on this channel, you heard it here first. It's all gonna come back to what I said. You still have a moral obligation. You still have the responsibility of being a professional. Because when the time comes for you to, maybe I was preaching a couple years ago. I said, when the time comes for y'all to get that bigger paycheck, and what did I say? What did I say? Y'all can scan the channel all you want. I don't even have a lot of videos on it. I haven't been posting a lot lately. Y'all can scan the channel if you want. What did I say? I said there's going to come a time, and I think that time's going to be very soon when it's time for you guys to, get y'all due. And if you were bullshitting for the past couple months, when it's time for you to get your due, you know what these people are gonna say? They're gonna say, "Hey, no, what was all this? This type, these type of performances? Yeah, okay, you want more money, but you're putting up these type of performances? I don't know. This is how you guys were treating y'all work, and you want this type of pay, this level of pay. You want this percent of the cut? I don't know." I said this. I literally said this. I literally called it. You heard it here first. So here comes the new CBA, and look at what they're doing with personal reasons. Look at how WNBA players been taking advantage of personal reasons. It low-key reminds me of like a job I had where it's just like they were trying to take advantage of me. And because I knew that they were trying to take advantage of me, I took advantage of them. It's the same thing in the W. It's just like, yeah, I'm calling out because y'all on BS, and you can't say anything to me because you know you on BS too. It's the same thing. The same thing's happening with the WNBA. You feel me? But there comes a point where it's just like you also can't go then now and ask for a raise, or maybe you can because I guess it's different when both parties understand that one's trying to hoe, and I'm just like, nah, you're not gonna be able to hold me. I see what y'all trying to do, so I'm not letting that happen. So I guess it's different in that term, in those dynamics. But the work I put in when I am there, right? When they can't BS you about your work and your performance, as in when you are there, they can't complain because you're a good worker, you're a hard worker, you're professional. Then you can go ask them, yo, I need a raise. But they're gonna be saying the same thing. Like, okay, you want this raise? This has to stop. This and that gotta, you know what I'm saying? This has to be sharpened. That's the same path that the WNBA and WNBA players are about to go on. So that's basically how I feel on Dewanna Bonner's situation and what I think stemming from it that a lot of people don't see. Did Dewanna Bonner quit on the team? Absolutely, she quit. But what I also think she didn't realize or probably doesn't understand is she's about to be put in the same situation she's in now, in my opinion. Nothing is guaranteed. A starting spot isn't guaranteed. So her two options were either quit on the team or work your way back up to the top. And I don't think she understood that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. But like I said, on this channel, you heard it here first. I'm out of here. Hour-long live stream. We probably will be streaming again in a couple of hours. 8:30. I'll drop the notification on my Instagram page. Again, if I don't drop it, I am at the movie theater. Don't hit me, but I will be back for maybe I might do maybe 8:30, or I might do a post game. It might be late at night though, but I might do a post game. We only got 2 game slates. Caitlin Clark isn't playing tonight. I forget what the other game is. Oh, Lynx, Mystics and Aces, and then Fever and Sparks tonight. So I might do a post game. Breakdown live stream. But that's gonna do it for this live stream. I appreciate you all checking it out. I know everyone's probably busy. This is a midday live stream. Midday never gets views because everyone's probably out at the mall trying to stay cool, especially in this heat. But I appreciate those who were here, rocking with me, engaging with the content. I will see you guys when I see you guys. Take care, stay safe, stay blessed. Peace.